Protocol. I am Charles, also known as Omnis, and this matchup is Wakanda versus Avengers, with Avengers bringing Thanos with the Power Gem. So pretty interesting matchup here. Got a kind of classic Wakanda action where it is Black Panther, Shuri, Okoye, and then Thor and Valkyrie, bringing some Asgardian heat into the team. And then rounding out Avengers, obviously Captain America, and then it's got Hawkeye and Winter Soldier. And as I said, Thanos with the power, so that he gets additional power, because a lot of the time when he uses his superpowers, it's only going to cost one. So the Crisis is Spider Infected and Extremis consoles. So I started off first thing and had Captain America grab the Spider Infected in the center, and then he uses Black Panther to run at the Spider Infected on my side in kind of the bottom right of the screen that you're seeing. So now he can't run and take another one of mine, so it seems like a good time for me to just go ahead and pass and let him activate another one of his characters. One of the core ideas of this team is utilizing Thanos to be boosting up Hawkeye's effectiveness, getting those Death Decrees and the Cosmic Portals while only spending 1 power each. So over here, what he's doing, he has Thor move up, take one of the Spider Infected, and then he moves on to the D-Secure. So now I'm just kind of figuring out where my different characters can end up going and whether or not they'll be in range of Thanos, that sort of thing. So I decide to have Winter Soldier move over to that secure. And then Thanos spends 1 to Death's Decree this Winter Soldier shot, puts it up to 6 dice. It does look like Black Panther has cover, so he's going to end up blocking 3, and so he takes no damage. And I didn't even get some bleed on Panther, but that can be kind of the downside of Winter Soldier, but I thought possibly in this team it would work out a little better, because often he would get to roll 6 dice. But Panther's still a tough dude to shoot. So Valk is going to pick up one of the Spider Infected, and then she moves over onto the secure. Actually, it looks like she's just slightly off of the secure in cover, but it looks like Jamie will have someone else move on to that one, so it's not really a big deal. He's got 5 characters. So here I'm trying to figure out who should Hawkeye shoot at. My initial thought right here was to put additional pressure onto Black Panther. And what we were talking about is that if I choose to use Trick Shot, that is the first superpower that I use, and so I will not get a discount when I hook arrow later on, assuming that's what I do. So obviously the plan is to Death Decree this shot, but then we start discussing that maybe it would be better to actually go at Valkyrie. And so we decided that going after Valkyrie is actually the much better plan, and we just kind of like forgot that she was there. So we decided to like shift it back just a step and have Hawkeye go more directly towards Valkyrie so that she would be in range. Yeah, so Hawkeye still spends his 1. We're just going to go ahead and have him hook arrow forwards at Valkyrie. And that'll allow him to move to the extract as well. So we overall decided this is probably the better play for the Avengers side. So it does not matter whether I'm doing physical or energy in this particular shot, but I got 7 dice into her 3. I did end up with 2 crits here, so this is going to be a pretty hard-hitting shot. So overall, I'm dealing 4. He's blocking 1. So I generate 3 power, put 3 damage on Valkyrie. So I decide here. All right, well, basically what I'm trying to get an idea for here is whether or not he has a character that can even possibly get to that further console, so that they could stop Thanos from scoring it. Since it doesn't look like he can, I'm going to go ahead and stay there with Hawkeye and do a trick shot at Valkyrie. She blocks 1. I'm dealing 3, so it ends up being 2 damage. He uses the Wakanda reroll and ends up only taking 1 damage out of it. Or no, he still is only blocking 1, so he takes 2. I decided to go ahead and do the Wild Bleed. So he gains 2, spends 1 of it to pick up the Spider Infected, and that's Hawkeye. So feeling like Hawkeye started off pretty strong here. I like what he's doing. So this is Okoye. She moves up and does a Spear Blast on Cap. Cap ends up blocking both damage, so all it does is generate a power for Okoye. Thanos does 1 movement and then does a cosmic portal on Cap to shift him backwards, trying to put him in a little safer position. But so far, pretty cool. Like, I mean, first round, Thanos has done a cosmic portal and 2 Death's Decrees. So overall, I'm liking what Thanos is bringing to the team. Here, I'm trying to make sure that Thanos is going to move to a position where he's not just going to get pushed by Okoye. And so realize that he can't really be on the kind of like the more front aspect or the more threatening side of it, because then he's going to be within range to be pushed. So he kind of goes his full move and kind of just goes behind as far away to stay out of Shuri's walk and push range. But that does leave Hawkeye in range. So Shuri moves up. She's definitely in range of Hawkeye. She's also in range 2 of Okoye for a potential bodyguard. He's about to roll the attack on Hawkeye, and I'm like, actually, we're gonna go ahead and do the fast draw. This is where I'm kind of wishing that I hadn't done the Cosmic Portal on Cap, because then I could be Death's Decreeing this shot onto Okoye. He decides to bodyguard it onto Okoye. It does not look like my shot ended up doing any damage to Okoye. She's just a tank, and she had cover. Wish that I had that Death's Decree. All right, well, that wraps up round 1, and we end up with a score being 5-4 in the favor of Wakanda. So, moving on to round 2. All right, so this puts a little pressure on me because now I'm behind. It's only 1 point, but I'm trying to figure out how can I swing this stuff back the other direction. And I'm not super happy about who is currently holding on to my extracts, because Spider Infected is one where each character can only hold 1. So the only characters that can potentially pick 1 up right now are Thanos and Winter Soldier. So not super happy about that. So now we're resolving the Spider Infected to see who's moving around. Cap does end up triggering the Spider Infected, so Hawkeye does not move. Panther does roll to move, and so I'm going to kind of get Panther out of position a little bit. Thor does not move, but Valkyrie does, and so this really kind of exposes her a bit. So I'm pretty happy with that particular roll. So here is where I'm contemplating. I want to use Hawkeye to finish off Valkyrie and deny her the activation. But I'm realizing I don't have any great way of getting up and picking up the extract after I do it. I could go for one shot with Winter Soldier, but 4 dice versus 3, she's going to have Shuri rerolls. She's also going to have the Wakanda reroll. The odds of me even getting that 1 damage in and still being able to move up and pick it up seem really unlikely. And then that means if I have already activated Winter Soldier, then he can't even move and pick it up afterwards. So it's kind of a rough spot. So Hawkeye shoots with Death's Decree. That puts the pain on, and so that's gonna drop Valkyrie. For the moment, I put Shock down because I did get the Wild, but we double check, and it's after the attack is resolved, so the status effect doesn't apply. So I just really have to kind of put this into the most obnoxious spot as possible. I would love to be in a position where I could go pick it up, but even with a movement and the hook arrow, he's already got one, so he can't pick it up. Again, it's kind of a not great situation, but I just have to deal with what it is. And so I'm hoping that I can put it far enough forward that nobody can possibly walk up, pick it up, and make an attack, is essentially what I'm thinking here now. And there's just not a great thing to do. I wish in this situation that I had not. I wish that I had not actually had Hawkeye pick up that extract. But it is what it is. So this is one of those things that you got to think about when you're playing these teams and thinking about who's holding an extract and who's going to be able to actually pick one up on the same action as dazing someone. So it was just needing a little bit more foresight into how I was going to play. So we finally resolved everything. That was a little bit slow there, but Valkyrie is dazed, Hawkeye is activated, and drop that spider infected over there by Cap. But Cap also cannot pick it up. So okay, so at this point, Hawkeye goes for the hook arrow. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at Okoye. We're kind of just seeing if she would have cover. I realize I just have to place him a little bit further forward if we want to be taking that shot. So, okay. She does not have cover right now. And Okoye does not have the power to bodyguard. So it's a good time to take the shot. So we decide let's go ahead and go for it. So I've got 3 successes. He's deciding if he wants to Wakanda, which he does. But he does not get anything, so he's still taking 3 damage to soften up Shuri. So right now, overall, I'm feeling decent about what the Thanos-Hawkeye combination is doing. But I'm still concerned that I'm behind. And he does kind of exactly what he should be doing. He just double moves up with Okoye. And has her pick up the extract, and she's in range for Shuri to give defensive rerolls, so she's going to be pretty tough to take down. Now I've got to decide, how do I put some pressure onto Okoye? Thanos could potentially cosmic portal her forward, but I'm also very concerned with when someone's in range 2 of her. The ability for her to count blanks as successes and having rerolls with Shuri seems a little rough. I could walk Thanos forward 1 and then do 1 portal on her and I get 1 punch on her. And it would also potentially give him the ability to generate a little bit more power from more Death's Decrees. And it puts him in range to Death's Decree either Cap or Winter Soldier. So I decided to go for it. Portal Okoye over. It keeps Winter Soldier outside of range 2, but would be able to drop the token into range for him to pick it up. So Thanos goes for 1 punch. Really, I'm just hoping like 1 or 2 damage would be great. I have 3 successes, but but it only ends up dealing 1 damage. Or no, sorry, I actually she rolls no blocks on this one, and doesn't reroll into any. So I actually get all 3 damage through. So I leave her at 1. Now I don't have a good spot to throw her to. The only thing I could really do here was possibly throw her into Winter Soldier and have Winter Soldier take the hit, but then it would mean that I would have dazed Okoye. And so maybe in that situation it would have been worthwhile to take that risk to have some little extra damage on Bucky. But I wasn't sure that was a good idea. Okay. Shuri takes a shot at Thanos. He can't take a damage from Shuri, but she does get to generate a power. And we're rolling it because we might as well see if she gets a skull. So with the push, kind of slides him back towards Hawkeye, trying to get Winter Soldier out of range of the Death's Decree. Shuri doing Shuri things. So now I have activated Hawkeye, I've activated Thanos. I still have Cap and Bucky. I'm thinking my best odds of getting this damage on her is Cap. So he does conclude the Shuri activation. He contemplates vibranium shielding, but it decides it's not worth it. So we do a Death's Decree punch with Captain America, 7 dice, and I do no damage. That is how Okoye can work. So he's going to take another punch on her. I realize there's no point in me pushing her anywhere. Maybe it would have been better for me to push and then go for the shield throw. Having 4 dice with her not counting blanks may be better. She goes for a Wakanda reroll. So with the Wakanda reroll, she ends up taking no damage from that one as well. Awesome, or not awesome if you are currently playing Avengers. That is a lot of dice that I've thrown at Okoye for a relatively small amount of damage. But if you watch the last video, that is what Okoye does. Okay, so that's definitely not a good spot for me. After putting all of that effort into a 2 threat and not getting her off the table, that's pretty bad. But now he's gonna activate Thor and start like coming into my side to put some pressure. So he does 1 advance, and then he is going to 4 Asgard. So he goes up 4 Asgard time on poor Bucky. He's got 6 dice. I have 3 versus physical. He does get 2 crits, which is a little scary. So right now he's at 4 damage. I roll a crit, end up with overall 2 blocks. So takes 2, and it does not give him enough power to throw, and he does not get the wild to throw Bucky either. So that's kind of cool, at least. That definitely could have been worse. He is staggered now. So now that leaves me with just Bucky, and he still has Black Panther. But he decides here that he's going to spend the 2 that he got from the strike to medpack Okoye, which kind of sucks, to be honest. After having 1 attack get through to actually deal damage, and now having to kind of start that whole cycle over, is not a great feeling. But it was absolutely a good move by Jamie. I decide here to have Bucky Red Fury Thor, as opposed to going after Okoye, because I don't think he can get her in one shot, and I just need Thor off that point because I still need to like score some stuff. So the Red Fury knocks him off. I get a couple of damage on Thor, and then I get a rifle. We remember that I did have Spetsnaz for 1. I would have loved to get 1 more power off of that rifle shot, but it is not to be. So now he's got Panther left. Not anything super crazy for Panther to do. I think it's probably just that he's going to move back onto the D secure because he wants to keep the score going. So that's going to end up with his turn, bringing the score up to 10-8. So now I'm 2 points behind and definitely feeling the pressure because this is absolutely a situation where he could score enough to win this next turn or score enough that the 4th round is just ugly for me. So let's move on and see what it goes. All right, it is round 3. The heat is on. Again, the score is 10 for Wakanda and 8 for Avengers. We do now have Valkyrie flipping to her injured side, which is a nice bonus. But we have to resolve the spider infected first. I have priority. Hawkeye does roll to be moved by the spider infected. Okoye does not move. Panther moves again. So kind of just going to move him to be obnoxious. And Thor does not move. I really need someone to take down Okoye that can actually pick it up. And so as much as I don't like activating Thanos first, I think that may be what I have to do in this situation. And I would absolutely love to daze Shuri here or KO Valkyrie before she gets to activate. But the problem is, I don't think either of those are going to lead to the points that I need to stay in this game. Because if Okoye gets away, that just gets real rough for me. So I Cosmic Portal her forwards for 1. And that sets up Thanos for punchy time. He does still get to count blanks. Go for the punch. He gets a crit. I end up with no damage, and I just kind of like knock her into the dumpster. Now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I've got to deal this last 3. This gets real bad for me if I don't get it. And so I'm thinking maybe I throw her at a slightly different angle that gets her outside of range 2 so she can't count blanks as successes. And that I go for the Thanos Cosmic Blast instead. And I think I just have to do it. As much as I'd like to conserve power on Thanos, I've got to go for it. So he spends some power to throw the Cosmic Blast. I'm almost kind of like backtracking and wondering if I should just go for the strike, but no, I need to not have her count blanks as successes. But he ends up rolling into another skull, so he can't use Shuri rerolls. And so, all right, so Thanos is able to knock her down, and he had the one power left to be able to pick up the spider dude. Okay, so not bad. At least I feel like I'm staying in here. It's not over yet. Okay, but now we've got to deal with Valkyrie shenanigans, which is going to get real ugly real fast. I also was considering here using Avengers Assemble to move Cap into range of Bucky to be able to have them both used till the end of the line, and I chose not to. I was like, I kind of feel like I need to save this to like actually be able to win. So Valkyrie comes in. I roll a crit. But overall, he's still going to have a fair amount of damage through. He uses some Shuri rerolls, and I'm taking 4. So that hurts real bad. And that brings me down to 1, and I'm bleeding. She's going to Dragon Fang again. At least she did not get the flurry. I spend the 2 to get Vibranium Shield again. Overall, I'm blocking 3 at the moment. He needs to get 2 damage through. So he does 3 dice reroll with Shuri, and he gets it. I also had Recalibration Matrix, so there's a part of me looking back on this that thinks that I should have spent for the Recalibration Matrix, because I had a lot of dice. And so we very easily, like, resetting all of the rerolls may have paid off for me there. So I think I would have been rerolling 7 dice. But I'm more wishing that I had actually gone for the Avengers Assemble play and been able to stack up the dice on both of those, because I really need them to survive this turn. And now with Cap going down, that's it's real rough for me. So now I kind of need Hawkeye to come out of this big for me. I have no Death's Decree for him now because I had to use Thanos to take down Okoye. So here I have Hawkeye shoot Valkyrie. He blocks 3 out of 4 of my successes, so I end up dealing 1 damage. Not great. Here he's deciding if he wants to do a reroll. He decides to. Yeah. Since Valkyrie picked up Cap's Spider Infected, this is why I'm going after her and not Shuri. But this is not looking good here. Again, I'm just running low on resources to really push good moves through. And so I think I'm just stuck. Like, let's just take another shot at her, see if I can soften her up. And I rolled 0 successes, so it was like not much you can do about that. Okay, so I've got Winter Soldier left. He still actually has Shuri, Black Panther, and Thor. So now I'm just like, how do I keep these things in play? He's going for a 4 Asgard with Thor, and so this is where the game could possibly end right here. So he's got a 6 dice strike for Asgard into Winter Soldier. He needs basically 3 damage, and that's going to actually seal this game. He has a crit. And I rolled 0 blocks, and so he rolled 4 damage. So that takes out Winter Soldier. At that point, there is nothing that I can do because Black Panther will score 1, Shuri will score 1, Thor will score 1, and he's holding 3 extracts, and I have no activations left. So that wraps up the game. I do score some points here, but it ends up being 16-11, and that wraps up the Wakanda versus Avengers game. We're just double checking here. If I had gone for the Avengers Assemble, would I have been within range 1 for till the end of the line? And I would have been. So definitely should have gone for that. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.